Sports.
We are Sports. We are MC.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and we are home sweet home. The Royals just finished a stretch of 17 of 22 days away from Kauffman Stadium, and now they're home for 11 straight, beginning with the Minnesota Twins. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. And the Royals begin with the second place Minnesota Twins, 4.5 games back of the Royals.
Great to be back in your division, especially with games on the line here. And, you know, they have a chance to put some more separation between the Twins that they already have.
And Minnesota, you figure they're going to be motivated to play the Royals based on what happened the last time these two teams met in Minneapolis. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, it was June the 8th. The Royals were a game back of Minnesota in the Central. The Royals swept that series. The Royals have been 6 games above 500 since then. Minnesota has been 6 games below 500.
I'm sure playing back here at the K in front of the home crowd is going to really help this offense get generated. The people love it. Now the power, that's been beautiful, especially Morales at their place at Target Field. Man, he ripped out a few rows of seats. Salvi, he's a beast. He's got a chance to put some early runs on, and it seems like the magic number for the Royals now offensively is 4 runs. And believe me, with this type of power, Gordon going against tonight's starting pitcher Gibson, they have a chance to do it. They just got to be able to wait for their pitch and get the cookie.
This is Miguel Sano, big Twins prospect. He'll make his big league debut tonight. And Joel and Monty will give us a Royals injury report when we come back.
because Kendrys Morales followed with the hit that put the Royals up for good, but it also led to Eric Hosmer spraining his finger, and he missed the whole Houston series. But earlier this afternoon, Jason Vargas throwing a simulated game as he tries to get back from the DL, and Eric Hosmer was not only taking swings, but he then took full batting practice, and he is back in the lineup. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Good to see you, and good to see Hosmer back in there. How much more whole does that make this lineup, one that struggled in Houston?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the depth of this lineup, the balance in this lineup, but I can promise you, if you ask the Houston Astros pitching staff how nice it was to face the Royals without Eric Hosmer, they would all have a smile on their face. He certainly is a threat in the middle of that lineup.
They've really dealt with so many injuries, going back to Alex Rios earlier in the year, and then the different hitters, guys on the DL from the pitching staff, but yet here they are 4.5 games above the Twins throughout all those injuries. How have they handled it?
Well, they've been great. They've been a team that's been able to handle the adversity, go back to suspensions and all that. Overall, they got a pass with flying colors.
And Chris Young has been a part of that success. First pitch is coming up. Ryan and Rex are next.
AT Uverse high-speed internet. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all the new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Nice crowd here tonight. There's rain all around Kansas City, but none threatening Kauffman Stadium at the moment. As the Royals are home for the last 11 days leading up to the All-Star break, and begin with the Minnesota Twins. The Royals just finished a long road trip. The Minnesota Twins are finishing up a long road trip. This is games 7, 8, 9, and 10 of a trip that took them through Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and then 4 games here in Kansas City. And they will begin with Chris Young, who flew back early yesterday, so he did not arrive with the team after the loss to Houston. The team landed right around 2 a.m., so he is well rested and ready for the second place Minnesota Twins.
Like that opponent's average of 192. ERA is very sweet as well. He's got good stuff. He's not overpowering, but he's going to go with that high fastball. He'll average 86 to 87 on his fastball, slider, and changeup. Mainly fastball, slider for Chris Young. He's been doing a great job while he's in that Royals uniform.
Pitching well against Minnesota. In fact, last time he faced the Twins, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Didn't give up a base hit until 1 out in the 7th inning. Here the Royals defensively, presented by Ford. And remember, tonight is the last night to vote.
Right, so look, why not get them all in, and they're close to it, folks. Keep going. Pedal to the metal here at the last part. Big push for Alex Gordon. Come on, folks. Get your platinum glove winner in there. Keep it up. Guys are extremely talented. And another nice full house here tonight at the K. The folks are responding to their play.
Brian Dozier, Minnesota leadoff man who has 16 home runs, and he's driven in 40. Before this series began, or before we even came home last night, if I said to you, who leads the American League in extra base hits, would he even be on your radar?
Probably not. I would probably say Trout or Pujols or one of those big sluggers.
3 pitches, and down goes Dozier. 1 away in the 1st inning.
Young is very deceptive. He's got, you know, that 6'10" frame, and he has a nice downhill angle, kind of short arms that ball, but I tell you, he is really tough to hit. You know, some guys that aren't overpowering, you would think you would have an advantage, but man, sometimes they can give you the most fits. Very good at keeping hitters off balance.
Ball 1-2, Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter has 12 home runs, so Minnesota has 28 home runs from the first 2 hitters in their lineup. And it appears that Chris Young has his good slider tonight.
Sure looks like it. Torrey Hunter 2 for 12 in his career with 1 homer out of those 2 hits off of Young. Young is a tremendous competitor. Doesn't always have that external fire that you would see. He's not going to do a lot of deep breathing or, you know, any visual body language, but he's really competitive inside. He's well prepared, and he tries to execute every single pitch as planned. Him and Salvi go over, they have a meeting, spend time with each other, talking about each hitter and how they want to approach him. He's a good, quick study.
Escobar to the middle. 2 down. And with all the rain, some cold air has come in from the northwest. So 71 degrees on July the 2nd in Kansas City.
Are you kidding me? Oh, springtime weather.
So 2 outs to Joe Mauer. Mauer has just 4 home runs. So Brian Dozier, he has 12 more home runs than Joe Mauer does.
14 doubles, 2 triples does Mauer to go along with those. And in your 3rd place and 4th place hitters, you look for extra bases when you look at statistics. Mauer likes to spray the ball around the all field. Outfielders are playing him to left. They're playing him to the opposite field. Infielders, you can't play a hitter more straight up.
2 balls, 1 strike.
See how those outfielders are swung over. Lorenzo Cain, he's trying to protect that left center gap.
And there he goes the other way, back into the crowd.
Very good at staying inside the ball is Mauer.
Three balls, 2 strikes. There was a time, a long time, when the Royals could hardly ever get Joe Mauer out. In Mauer's first 9 years against the Royals, he hit .355. But now in his last 3 years, he has hit .232 against the Royals. Just did nick it foul. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
.319 career batting average for Joe Mauer. He's in his 12th season. You have a number like that, boy, you're one of the best hitters in the world for sure. And it's because he uses the whole field. Not a one-dimensional type hitter.
Salvi wanted that pitch down, and it's pulled foul. He has won 3 batting titles, Joe Mauer, and when he won his first back in 2006, he became the first American League catcher ever to win a batting title, and then he went on to win 3 in 4 years. Pass Young and into center field. So he had him off balance, but Mauer is still able to poke it up the middle, and he's on with a 2-out single.
Hard to get him off balance. Even though he was there, he still was able to keep his hands back. Get the ball right between the wickets of Chris Young.
Two down to Trevor Plouffe. A lot of talk around the Minnesota dugout and in their clubhouse about Miguel Sano, one of their top prospects. He is a third baseman, but Paul Molitor has made it very clear to the media and to Trevor Plouffe that Plouffe is still his third baseman. So Sano, at least for now, is going to be a DH. Maybe play a little bit at first base. They're going to start working him in the outfield, but Paul Molitor wanted to put Trevor Plouffe's mind at ease.
Well, that competition sometimes is good for a team and good for a particular player. Keeps him going. Sano, he's on the top step, watching every little detail, and being his first big league game, you would expect to see that. He's trying to pick up any kind of tendency he can. And being a DH got to be tough for him. He used to play on both sides of the ball. First big league game, you're the DH.
Laid off a slider down and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. Last time Trevor Plouffe faced Chris Young, he put an end to Chris's bid for a no-hitter with a 1-out triple in the 7th inning at Target Field. 3 balls, 2 strikes. This was June the 9th. Minnesota had no hits against Chris Young for 6 in the 3rd innings, and then Plouffe nearly hit a home run. Royals went on to win that game 2-0. Chris Young giving up just that 1 hit in 6 1/3. And now on with a walk. So 2 outs and nobody on, a single, a base on balls, and 2 on for Eddie Rosario. Eddie Rosario getting the start in left field. He'd been playing some center field. Minnesota's just had an awful time the last few years getting center field settled. And at one time they were loaded out there. Remember, they had Denard Span. Denard Span is now with the Washington Nationals. They had Ben Revere. They had those 2 guys at the same time, and they traded them both the same offseason. Revere went to the Phillies. Span went to the Nationals. 2 balls and no strikes.
They drafted a couple of hotshot center fielders, and they were hoping that they would get ready and become their everyday center fielders, but so far hasn't worked.
Two of those guys are on the disabled list right now. Aaron Hicks, Byron Buxton. They've used Danny Santana, who's a shortstop out there, and Santana's in center field tonight. Hit well and foul off the right field line. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Chris Young, he makes a good living pitching right there. About letter high, a little bit above the belt. Rosario was out ahead of that one. And one of the reasons he's so successful pitching up there at a low velocity is because of his good slider. He's got a slider that really is good. He spots it, and he'll mix in some changeups.
Lifted to very shallow left field. Alex Gordon is there, and that's the inning. So Chris Young gets around a 2-out single and a walk. The Royals will be facing right-hander Kyle Gibson tonight. Game lead over Minnesota, so a lot could be settled in these upcoming 4 games. Minnesota could get right back in it. The Royals could create some space, and Ned Yost is happy to have his A lineup back, which includes Lorenzo Cain back in center field, Eric Hosmer at first base, Kendrys Morales is back as the designated hitter. So it's been since the end of the Oakland series that the Royals have been lined up like that. And they'll be facing for the 7th time right-hander Kyle Gibson, and the 4th time this year they've already seen Kyle Gibson.
So they know what they're getting. 2-seam sinkers. He's a sinker baller and a ground ball pitcher. He's not overpowering. He's 88 to 93. We might see some 94s, and if the Royals are hopeful, they'll see some higher numbers from a velocity standpoint.
Mauer all by himself over on the right side, and he goes to the bag to get Escobar.
And the reason I say that is a sinker baller that throws hard, sometimes it takes the sink away. And so less is more when it comes to velocity for Gibson. Also has a pretty good slider and changeup combination that he'll use, an occasional curveball once in a while.
One out to Mike Moustakas. Gibson with a strike across the knees. Moustakas was hitless during the Houston series and is 0 for his last 14, but still hitting at .308 among the American League leaders. And there's a bunt, and that puts an end to that.
very special. I mean, to tell you, that's what gets a lot of hitters right. But for Moose, he can square around in plenty of time. He doesn't have to sneak it and try to put a nice little drag bunt down. Look where Plouffe is. Plouffe's playing shortstop, and that's all he's got to do. Doesn't have to worry about touching it, making it a soft bunt. But that's Moose's 3rd bunt single of the year. Great job. Nice to see Moose smile. A little rough bump in the road here. Sinker ball pitchers are the kind of guys to bunt on too. That ball's already going down. It makes it easier to get the top half of the ball.
Lorenzo Cain, even with a sore hamstring, had a good series against the Astros. He had 5 hits, which included 3 extra base hits. And for the entire road trip, he hit .348. Nice backhand save by Suzuki. 1-1.
Lorenzo, he was really putting on a display with that inside-out swing, using the opposite field, getting his hits the other way, and that keeps him from jumping and pulling off balls, trying to pull them. So that's the ideal way to find those holes more, is in using that right side.
Trying to go the other way against Gibson.
Kurt Suzuki has had a little difficult time throwing runners out, but you can't put that on him. He's got a nice throwing arm. It's the pitcher. If the pitcher takes time getting the ball home, that gives that runner a couple extra steps, and it's an easy steal for some of those guys. Moustakas has stolen 1 base this year.
Cain lays off the slider. 2-2.
With those hits, look where his batting average is now. Heck, he's closing back in on 300.
Off of Gibson's glove, and that took some of the steam out of that ground ball, and it goes down as a 1-4-3 inning-ending double play. Esurance All-Star voting ends tonight at 11 o'clock Kansas City time. So be sure to get your last-minute votes in for the Royals. Go to Royals.com/vote to cast your selections, and don't forget to watch the All-Star Game Tuesday, July 14th on Fox.
Go Locaine, folks. Punch his name in there. If you haven't already, do it again.
So here is the first major league at bat for Miguel Sano. And he's after the first pitch from Chris Young, signed by Minnesota in 2009 out of the Dominican Republic. Big time power. He grades out about as high as you can as far as power potential goes. And he hits it hard to center field. CAIN is there to make the play. So Miguel Sano, will he be a star? Will he flame out? Who knows, but he will never forget July 2nd, 2015, and lining out to center field against Chris Young in Kansas City.
Yes, and he sure is a big boy. I'll tell you, he's a 6'4", 262. Big young man. Good size, strong. Yeah, took his hands back nicely. Good, short, easy swing. I think he's probably relieved a little bit. And sitting in there watching his team in that first half inning. The butterflies are big in the guy's stomach when he's making his debut.
And it used to be that they would take the ball out of the game when a player would get his first big league hit, but I think if I saw what was going on after that out, the authenticator, which is standing inside the Royals dugout, I think he sent the ball boy out there to get that ball so that Miguel Sano, there he is, and he's charting that now on a clipboard, and the Royals bat boy in the foreground went out to get Miguel Sano's line out to center field. Everything is recorded today.
I was just gonna say, don't they keep everything? I mean, it's amazing. But the authenticator puts a little stamp on the ball or the bat or whatever artifact they're trying to tag. It puts his little stamp on there.
Suzuki lays off the slider,
and I think they do that for all the people who are trying to put counterfeit stuff out there, saying, you know what, this is the home run ball. No, it doesn't have a mark on it, doesn't have a stamp.
3-2 on Kurt Suzuki, batting at just .228.
2 for 11 with a homer off of Chris Young in his career.
Out toward right center field, a long run for CAIN. The hamstring looks good tonight. And he runs that ball down and takes an extra base hit away from Suzuki. Don't forget, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Royals.com/vote. It all ends at 11 o'clock Central tonight. Eduardo Escobar takes ball one. Switch hitting shortstop. And Chris Young, the fly ball pitcher, uses only Lorenzo Cain in the top of the second inning. Sano, Suzuki, and Escobar all fly to center. Hosmer with an injured left ring finger after a headfirst slide in Oakland. Missed the entire Astros series, but as Joel told us before the game tonight, not only did he get some swings yesterday, but he got some live swings against Jason Vargas, who threw a simulated game. The news was good on Vargas as well. And Hosmer takes inside from Kyle Gibson, who got a ground ball double play to get out of the first inning and faced only 3.
That ground ball double play that Gibson induced was his 18th on the season. That leads Major League Baseball. So he's a ground ball pitcher, and when runners get on, got to stay inside the ball and go the other way on it. Keep from rolling over. Lorenzo Cain, in his case, he had a nice at bat, but he hit it right to Dozier. Sinker. Little 2-seam run.
And then coming back with a slider, breaking the other way. So he had to try to set up Hosmer, thinking the ball was going to break one way, and then countering that next pitch with a slider. And then a changeup. So a sinker, a slider, and a changeup with the last 3 pitches, and Gibson picks up his first strikeout.
Threw everything to Hosmer. See how he holds the ball in the back 3 fingers there. That takes some speed off with the same arm speed as his fastball. Good effective pitch. And you know, most guys pitch Hosmer inside. Most teams do. You know, they want to get his arms extended because he does a lot of damage middle of the field into the opposite.
Morales goes the other way. He homered the other way last night, and Rosario into the corner to make the play. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. KC Data Strong Fan, which just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Inside to Alex, who was on base 13 times during the trip. He had 8 hits. He also walked 5 times. Gibson stays inside, 2-0. And with the count 2-0, the Twins are convinced that Alex will not drop down a bunt like Mike Moustakas does. So Trevor Plouffe, you saw his head on the bottom of the screen, moving from his third base spot to the right side of second base. And now it's 3-0 on Alex. Four-pitch walk. And the Royals' second base runner tonight.
That's 36 now for Alex. Highest walk rate on his team. Good job.
It's a Thursday, so it's another Gordo Nation, and a lot of the Gordo Nation t-shirts are on display out in left field tonight. Remember, for just $30, you get a Gordo Nation t-shirt and a seat near Alex in left field. And next Gordo Nation Thursday is coming up during the Tampa Bay series. Royals.com/special events for tickets. 1-0 to Salvador Perez. Sal homered twice during the trip and drove in 4 and leads the Royals with 13 home runs. Gibson throws a strike over the outside, 1-1.
So he's got that bat all lubed up with pine tar. A little mixture of dirt, pine tar, and the motor stick. And there's all the stuff that they use. Rosin bag, got a couple of weighted sleeves that they put on there. There's the motor sticks in white, pine tar, rosin bag. So they do that so they can get a better grip with their bat. Some guys like different ways. Now that stick there is very sticky. That stuff. I mean, it's really. If you put too much on there, you can't get your hand off. So
it's
that's
like a glue stick.
Right, and then you use that. That's the rosin bag there. That kind of takes the stick away.
Up the middle and cut off by Escobar for the force at second base. 2 in the books and no score. Game 1 of 4 between the Royals and Minnesota. Last night in Houston, and he hit George Springer on the right wrist. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report. Up until the end of the game, we heard that it was a right wrist contusion, but then after the game, as the Royals were leaving Houston, word spread that Springer's right wrist was broken by that pitch, so he'll be out for a while.
Sure, that slide didn't help him either. Beautiful.
Perfect. Danny Santana, who's really been struggling, on with a bunt single to begin the 3rd inning. Now, I mentioned that Mike Moustakas had been 0 for 14. Danny Santana was 4 for 40 before that bunt single.
Man. And you know, that amazes me with this guy's speed and that type of back control that he's not bunting more often. I mean, there's no way a guy with that kind of speed should be in that kind of funk.
We've discussed this before. I think it's a mental hurdle that a speed player needs to get over, that when they bunt, it's not a gimmick. You know what I mean? Some guys bunt, if they pop it up or make it out, they feel like they wasted an at bat. You know,
that's right.
That's not a gimmick. That's a way to get on base, and it's not going to work every single time.
Oh, and what that does to the defense, when you do it once a game, it pulls them in, and when you pull the corners in, it opens up lanes to hit the ball by them. That's one of the biggest things for a bunter, is not just to get the bunts down, but it's to hit the ball by them for a double. Works really works wonders.
Sal from his knees, and Santana's back in time.
One of the best bunters that I ever played against, of course, was Omar Vizquel, Roberto Alomar, but I think Brett Butler probably had the best precision. I remember playing him in 10, 15 feet on the grass, taking the bunt away, and he looked at me and just smiled, and he dropped a perfect bunt down and beat it out. You know, guys that aren't intimidated by where they play, they're so good at what they do. You can try to take it away all you want, and it puts the pressure on the defender. You don't have to bunt it perfectly all the time.
I admired Brett Butler as a player, but I didn't get a chance to see him. His career was coming to an end when I was getting started as a broadcaster, but I got to see a lot of Kenny Lofton, who had that same attitude. Off of Sal's glove, and Santana got a good read, and he'll move up to second base. It's a wild pitch. And Kenny Lofton used to do the same thing too. Third baseman would play in, and he'd still put a bunt down, or he would show bunt, and if he didn't like the pitch, he would take it, but that didn't mean that the cat was out of the bag and he still wouldn't bunt in that at bat, or maybe he'd foul a bunt off and still bunt. Yeah, so for lack of a better word, the guy has to get that gimmick mindset out of his head. Escobar, nice backhand play to get Dozier, who does not advance Santana. He stays at second base with one out.
Sure, as Dozier's manager Paul Mauder would have liked to seen Dozier at least try to get him over this early in the game with a ball to the right side, but you know, a guy as productive as Dozier, you're almost better off letting him swing away and see if he can knock in not only the runner at second but himself. 16 homers. Didn't work that time. Escobar, nice hands.
Big swing by Torrey Hunter. No balls, one strike. Let's bring in Joel.
All right, Torrey Hunter, one of the well-liked guys around the league, although we saw him lose it the last time the Royals faced the Twins back in Minnesota. There was a lot of frustration obviously going on with the Twins at that point. This was a huge series. They ended up being swept, but you know, Torrey's known as one of the guys that is friends with just about everyone in the league. Huber's rewind did not like this from Lou Kochaver, and he just went nuts, got his money's worth, and then all that happened, what Ned Yost referred to as the striptease show afterwards. Had a chance to talk to Torrey about that today. I knew what I was doing. He didn't say as much as he was trying to rally his troops, but that's clearly what it was. How about Chris Young here, as he's going to get the rundown, although it is going to be a long one. And there they finally get it. Maybe not textbook, but they get the out. And now Torrey Hunter will be up with no one on base. But guys, he said that he got a text message from a Royals player after the game that said, very entertaining, Torrey. Although you were right, that was a ball.
Great timing on the inside move by Young. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Chris Young covering 5. Throws to get him out.
So I got 1, 4, 5, 4, 1, 6, 5.
But a little bit too many throws that you want. But look, the bottom line is just get him out. But the timing was perfect. Chris Young, we haven't seen him do that all year, an inside move. Santana was taken off. He was going to steal the base.
That's a great shot. We can go back to that again. The very end of that play. Now Santana, he got his money's worth, but look at how the Royals played it up till the very end. Infante is a part of it, then Young, then Escobar. Look, Eric Hosmer was next in line, then Mike Moustakas, and then Salvador Perez was next in line. I mean, if Santana kept going, everybody was in the right place if they had to make more throws.
You're right. And those are great drills to do when you're a young player in your little league teams and your travel teams. You know, you can win games by getting outs like that, you know, and practice that and circle around. You notice how Moose circled back after he threw it the first time. He circled back to his position and got in there and was able to make the out.
Torrey grounded out to Escobar in the first inning. That'll be foul off the right field line. Well, we felt like when Torrey Hunter, well, it's easy to say lost his mind, but as Joel hinted and Torrey hinted, he didn't really lose his mind. He knew what he was doing. But it sure looked like he lost his mind. I mean, that's about as good as I've seen.
It was good. It was entertaining. That's a good story by Joel. You could see him. He was just, that was the final straw. Jersey coming off.
Out to Escobar again. And the line of the night came from Bert Blyleven, who said, I'm glad they got him off the field because the next thing was he was going to take off his pants.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. Look at Booze circling back in. Nice.
A former college athlete, professional football coach, Charles Lee is a positive force who never misses an opportunity to coach youth and adults in the game of life. And through his civic work in the schools and community, he not only exhibits character and responsibility, he consistently pours these values into all he encounters. Sounds like a way to describe Buck O'Neil, and that's why Charles Lee sits in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game.
Nice legacy, Charles. Glad you're here tonight. Congratulations on what you do and what you've done.
Alex Rios, Omar Infante, and Alcides Escobar in the bottom of the third inning. That's hit well into right center field, but slicing, and that helped out Torrey Hunter, who runs to the gap to make the play. Now the Royals, so far, the ninth man in the batting order is coming up. Just one hit, 2 runners against Gibson. And Gibson made his big league debut against the Royals back in 2013. And he won. He gave up 2 runs and 6 1/3. And he was very tough on the Royals in his first 4 starts.
And if I remember correctly, Ryan, he threw harder. He was really bringing it then, and it sometimes affected his sinker, but he's now evolved in these short few years into pitching.
And now in his last 2, the Royals have gotten to him. 1.38 ERA in his first 4, 5.73 in his last 2 against the Royals. So they've made an adjustment. That's the benefit of seeing a pitcher in your division so often. Fewer surprises, as Infante is down on strikes on appeal to first base umpire Eric Cooper, and that's Gibson's 2nd strikeout.
What the Royals have learned first time through is Infante couldn't check his swing, is He's got everything working down, so you're going to try to see him up if you can. And if you get a 2-strike situation, he wants you to roll your hands on contact, and that's what brings the ground balls to the pull side. So if you can try to stay inside, keep your hands in there, and use the opposite field, you have a better opportunity to get those hits and get guys on base.
Interesting the way Minnesota shifts against Alcides Escobar. They play him as a dead pull hitter.
But then he's pitching him away. And we've seen Escobar get a lot of nice base hits out in the direction there.
And he grounded that way in the first inning, hit it to Mauer. Now he pulls it to third, and Plouffe is there. And now Kyle Gibson has matched Chris Young with 3 scoreless innings.
Fernandez, as not only did he make his return from Tommy John on the mound, he went deep with the home run. And so one of the game's most exciting pitchers in front of friends and family did okay. 6 innings and 3 runs, got the win, and also helping his cause. Jason Vargas threw a simulated game today. Guys said he was very pleased with the way things went. Felt really good out there, executed his pitches. He'll throw a side session in a couple days, another simulated game on what would be 4 days off, and then on the 5th day. As for Yordano Ventura, see Jason Vargas there, so things going well with him. Ventura told you last night about his rehab start, and he will throw a side session, and then when his 5th day is up, could be here, could be a rehab assignment. They'll wait on that, but he said that he threw very well. Yordano, he's with the club today, was up in the high 90s, even as high as 101, he was told last night. Yordano was, and command, he said, a little bit off on the fastball, but felt really good with the breaking ball and the changeup.
Be nice to get those 2 back.
Alcides Escobar was playing exactly where Joe Mauer hit it, who's going hard up the line. Mauer is 1 for 2. Chris Young has allowed 2 hits and a walk in 3 1/3 innings. One of those hits was a bunt base hit, and his only walk was to Trevor Plouffe, who bats here with 1 out. And now it's Infante to the middle. And Chris Young, who has the lowest ground ball percentage in the major leagues with the number of innings he's pitched, which is fine because he's a fly ball pitcher. But in the last couple of innings, he's been a ground ball pitcher. That is 4 straight ground ball outs.
That'll work for him. That slider is a good pitch moving down.
So 5 outs on the ground, 4 in the air. And Eddie Rosario takes high, ball 1. Rosario flied out to Alex Gordon in the first inning. You know, earlier tonight we saw Miguel Sano in his first big league at bat. Eddie Rosario on his first big league pitch on May the 16th hit a home run against Scott Kazmir and the Oakland A's.
Wow, that's pretty special.
Well, where do you go from there as far as thrills go?
Wow, that's something he'll always talk about, even way past his playing days. You know, Sano, he swung at the first pitch. You know, you got to take a rip.
Coming back our way and just a little bit short. All right, trivia for you, Hud. Just take a guess. How many guys in Major League history do you think, and over 100 have hit a home run in their first at bat?
Okay,
how many of those on the first pitch?
Half of them.
Not quite. A third of them. He was the 29th.
Okay.
That still kind of sounds high to me.
It does.
He was the first Minnesota Twin to homer on the first pitch of his big league career. Three and 2 on Rosario with Sano on deck. Hit well to right center field. Long run CAIN, long run Rios, and it bounces between them and over the fence. And that's a good thing. Rosario was just about at second base when it bounced over, so he would have been on his way to third, but he is on with a 2-out double.
Split the gap. Had some height to it. The ball's right down the middle at 87. He's able to barrel it. Minnesota, they've upped their mark as far as runners in scoring position to 286. They weren't that high when the Royals played them several weeks ago. So they've been picking up some big hits. And that 286 is third best in the American League.
Second big league at bat for Miguel Sano. He lined to center in the second inning. 6'4", 260. Miguel Sano.
Big young man.
Averaged about 1 home run every 15 at bats in the minor leagues. And there's a big league slider for you. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's a little equalizer. Starts on the outer half and then finishes about nice 3-4 inches off the plate. That's a nice breaking slider.
And that one gets through Sal. Rosario goes to third, and that's Chris Young's second wild pitch tonight.
And third overall this season. Doesn't have many of those, and usually Salvador Perez, extremely trustworthy. He's able to keep it, try to keep it in front of him, but sometimes that ball hits that dirt, it stays down, it doesn't hop up. It's misjudged the bounce.
And blocked again. or at least in the dirt again. Blocked this time.
That was way short. Again, Salvador Perez not trying to catch the ball. Opens up his glove and just blocks it and leaves it in front.
One at him with a fastball. We talked about this before. Scouts will rate a player on a scale of 20 to 80. 20 the lowest, 80 the highest, and Miguel Sano is anywhere from 75 to 80 when you talk about his power potential. It's very rare for someone to get 80 in any category. Slider struck him out. Number 2 for Chris Young, and it comes with a runner at third base.
Put a little wrinkle on it, a little away from the bat. Got to go.
Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. A few raindrops begin to fall. So some fans have opened up their umbrellas as the Royals bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. Another crowd, well over 30,000 for the first of 4 with Minnesota and the first of 11 on this homestand. Royals have 1 hit so far in 3 innings against Kyle Gibson, and that was Mike Moustakas' bunt single with 1 out in the first, putting an end to an 0 for 14. And Minnesota still continues to play him with a 3-man shift on the right side.
That means Gibson's going to go back to pounding sinkers and sliders in on Moose's hands. And that's what Houston did so well against Moustakas. They shifted drastically to the right, and all pitches were inside on him.
Gibson plays the second hop and flips to first for the out. Don't forget, students, to come out to Kauffman Stadium on Wednesday nights for Student Night and Local Music Showcase presented by Inc. Magazine. You can mingle with friends and enjoy food and drink specials exclusively for students in the outfield experience while listening to live music from local Kansas City bands. Next Wednesday with Tampa Bay here, music from the Josh Berwanger Band. And those tickets are just $8. Lorenzo Cain is 1 for 2, and he's on with 1 out in the 4th.
Outer half. Didn't sink. That ball was up.
So CAIN carries that productive road trip into the beginning of the homestand. Batted .348 in Seattle, Oakland, and Houston. All with a sore hamstring. Eric Hosmer struck out on a changeup against Gibson in the second. And the fastball's a little bit high, 2-0.
There's a slight breeze blowing in from right field tonight here at the K. Not heavy enough to really hold a big time pull shot in, but on a high fly ball, it could hold it in.
There's that good movement, and Gibson used that pitch to get ahead of Hosmer in the second inning.
Suzuki sitting up inside. Good run on that 94.
Now if there's a pattern, now he'll try and start a pitch in that same area, but a slider that'll break in on Hosmer. That's what he did with his sequence in the second inning. And now Hosmer's bunting, and he bunts it over the bag and fair.
So these two bunt hits by Moose and Haas kind of messing up Trevor Plouffe. Now that's a good pitch to bunt. He stayed on top. Good angle. He's able to stay on top of that high fastball. Sometimes that's a pitch that you'll pop up, and he just is able to get it in and chip it right around that bag. Fourth bunt hit this season for Haas.
2 on, 1 out to Kendrys Morales, who had 2 home runs and drove in 5 on the just completed road trip. He is 0 for 1 so far tonight. And there's that tailing fastball, tailing back into the strike zone. 0-1.
Morales, one of their strongest hitters with runners in scoring position at .346. Team overall, 281. That's 4th best. The Royals in the league.
On the ground, Mauer dives, and there's an out at second base. That's it. CAIN goes to third, and Morales will be at first with 2 down.
Morales just couldn't square it up any better, or that would have snuck through. Good play by Mauer, making sure the out.
And now to a Royals strength this year. They lead the league with runners in scoring position and 2 out. And this is Alex Gordon, our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. And what he did against Gibson the last time the Royals faced him at Target Field. He almost took one on the knee there at 93 miles an hour.
Believe me, Gibson remembers that. You know, try to really stay inside or away and out of the middle.
Really got that pitch down to the left-hand batters. Starting it right at the hitter, at least very close. Getting the left-hand hitters to give up on it, and then late break over the strike zone.
Second time through, Royals ought to be able to pick that up.
So there's the pattern. He goes with that tailing fastball for a strike, and then either a slider or a cutter in with the next pitch. Very steady first and second time through a lineup for Kyle Gibson, and then he gets even better third time through. Staying inside 3-1. Salvador Perez is next. You brought this up, Hud, that a sinker ball pitcher, if they throw too hard, that ball will straighten out. And I wonder if for Gibson, if he gets better as the game goes on, maybe some fatigue sets in and gets even more movement on his fastball.
And my scouting report says he's heavy with his changeups later in the game, trying to get the guys off balance.
Alex walks for a second time to load him up for Salvador Perez. And now Neil Allen, Minnesota pitching coach, will go out and join the conference.
Yep, it's a big opportunity right here for the Royals to get Chris Young a lead. Royals with the bases loaded this year hitting .226. Salvi did 0 for 2 with them loaded. He's due. Good numbers for Salvador Perez with runners out there.
Down and away, ball one. Cain at third, he singled. Morales at second, reached on a fielder's choice. Gordon at first, on with a walk.
Good, hard 95-mile-an-hour sinker on the outer half. Look up in the zone. He's going to keep that ball down and away. Gibson well aware of Salvador Perez's power. Now he's going to keep that ball away, and Salvi has to tell himself that, look, if he doesn't want to pitch to me, let him pitch to Rios, who's on deck. But it's hard. You know, Salvi just had his 5th walk last night. He's up there to knock him in.
1-2. So get him to go after borderline pitches. So far, Gibson has gotten Sal to hit on his terms.
Salvador is an excellent low ball hitter, but you know, it's an aggressive type of style that Salvi has, and it doesn't have to be a strike.
Just inside, 2-2.
Let's just set up this next one coming away. We saw that the big hit that Salvi got in the wild card game against Oakland last year. The ball was down and off the plate about 4 or 5 inches. You know, so he can do that. It just all depends on how his luck's going.
Ooh. You like to have that one back. Salvi has a few words for Gary Cederstrom as he heads back to the dugout. That's not where Gibson wanted that slider. That was supposed to be down and away.
That's a good pitch there. Too close to take.
will end on a Sunday, and we hope you'll come out and arrive early for a family fun day Sunday featuring face painters and balloon artists, an entertaining DJ, and player autographs atop the Royals dugout. And of course, after the game, kids under 14 can run the bases during the Skippy Fun Run, and the first 500 kids in line will get a Skippy t-shirt. As we welcome in Jeff Montgomery, we missed you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
How did you stay busy during the road trip?
Well, I watched you guys on TV.
Every night?
Yeah, and I caught up with my honey-do list. You never get completely caught up, but I made a lot of progress.
Good for Tina.
Yes.
Good for her. Well, Monty, from a pitcher's point of view, that last out, Kyle Gibson to Salvador Perez, he got Sal to chase some pitches. I won't say they were balls because they're all very close to the outer edges of our grid. Was that good pitching by Gibson, or was he taking advantage of Sal's aggressiveness?
Well, I think everybody knows Sal's going to chase pitches. If he can get his bat on, he's going to take a hack at it. Unfortunately, the last pitch was a backup slider. It was supposed to be down and away, and it just kind of spun and backed up, and I think it froze even Salvador Perez.
Alex Gordon on the run, and that'll land on the warning track. Kurt Suzuki goes into second base with a leadoff double. He is 1 for 2. So Chris Young begins the top of the 5th inning with a runner at second base and nobody out.
Monty, Chris Young seems to be hitting his spots. He's locating his fastball, but he's using his slider very effectively tonight.
Yeah, I think he's been able to locate the slider well. We saw him bounce a couple sliders, had the wild pitches on the sliders. But even in the last strikeout he got against Sano, it's like he threw the slider up in the strike zone. We see oftentimes guys get away with pitches up in the strike zone that are accidents, but I think it's more of a design for Chris Young.
Got Brian Dozier to begin the game with a similar pitch, a slider way up in the strike zone. Eduardo Escobar bunts back to Young. Out at first. Suzuki goes to third. Sacrifice for Eduardo Escobar.
It's exactly what Paul Molitor wanted to see there. Advance that runner. Tight ball game here. Long way to go. Going to bring that infielders in. Open up some lanes.
And now Danny Santana, you have to be alive for a squeeze here. Santana had a bunt single in the first inning, a very good bunt. And he takes outside, ball 1. Santana in a deep slump. Even with the bunt single, he is 5 for his last 41.
As a pitcher in this situation, you look to get either a strikeout or maybe a pop-up. You hate it when the infielders have to come in. The batting average against goes up significantly with those infielders hitting so close. But Chris Young, the type guy that can get those infield pop-ups fairly easily.
That'll get him home, and that'll get Santana, who can really run, zipping around the bases. And he gets to third base the same time as Kurt Suzuki jogs down from third. So Santana's 2 for 2, putting an end to a deep slump, and he gives Minnesota a 1-0 lead.
Double sacrifice bunt and a no doubter to the opposite field. There's Chris Young trying to use the top part of that strike zone, but and Santana might start getting hot now.
Yeah, he was looking to get that ball above the strike zone, maybe get that pop-up we're talking about, but unfortunately Santana did a really nice job of hitting.
And now a dangerous hitter in Brian Dozier. And there was a slider that was up, but as Monty was suggesting, that's not necessarily a mistake pitch. Dozier fouls it back. Dozier is 0 for 2. Infield remains in. No balls, 2 strikes. When the Royals were in Minnesota in early June and they swept the series, Minnesota was playing well. Brian Dozier was as hot as anybody in the league. And one of the many keys to sweeping that series was holding Dozier to 1 for 9 in the 3-game series. One and 2 on Dozier.
It's obvious here that Chris Young is not going to give in to Dozier in this situation. He's got an open base, Torrey Hunter on deck, a guy that could possibly hit into a double play to end the inning. So he's got to be very careful here.
2 and 2.
Stay away from that high fastball. He might try it up here, but for Dozier, he's looking to knock a sacrifice fly in here with 1 out.
Very shallow. So Santana goes halfway as CAIN almost runs all the way to the infield dirt with the infield in. 2 down.
As an outfielders, you're always aware when the infield's in. You might come in a couple of steps, but you know that if there is a ball hit like that, it's all yours. So none of the infielders and Infante didn't even go out there for that because there's no way they're going to catch it. So good pitch by Young. When he's on top of his game, he's getting pop-ups like that.
Twice tonight, Chris Young has gotten Torrey Hunter to ground out to short. Good fastball over the outside. Torrey Hunter has 129 RBIs in his career against the Royals. That's the most against any opponent. And if you've been following the Royals since Torrey Hunter got to the big leagues, I would imagine that doesn't surprise you in the least. One and 2.
One thing that's so impressive to me with Chris Young, it doesn't matter the situation. He's always composed on the mound. He doesn't ever let the hitters, the opposition, see him at least showing signs of distress.
3 times tonight Hunter has grounded out to short. So all things considered, not a bad inning. Minnesota gets a run, but they had another runner at third base with 1 out, and Santana is stranded at third. Here he is pitching to Salvador Perez with the bases loaded.
Yeah, one thing you're going to see in common with all the pitches he's going to throw is that none of these pitches are going to be in the middle part of the plate. Going to be on the edge of the strike zone. He throws 4 on the edge, and then he's going to throw the slider. He wants to be down and away. We call that a backup slider. It actually moves the opposite direction of the normal slider, and it froze up Salvador Perez.
So you never know when that pitch is going to back up.
It's very difficult to do it on demand. It's something that normally happens by accident, and that one is one that we would say it was so bad it was good.
Because I would imagine that Sal was expecting something to be down and away again, right?
Right, you pick up that spin and you're thinking it's going to be a slider that's going to go down and away from you, and next thing you know it's just going to spin and just kind of stays there. It says hit me, but it freezes you up and too late to do anything with it.
Locks you up.
Rios is 0 for 2 with a fly out to center field. Now ball 1 to Omar Infante. So Gibson is 4 1/3 scoreless. He struck out Infante on 3 pitches in the 3rd inning. Plouffe plays the second hop and over to Maurer for out number 2. Minnesota Twins have surprised a lot of people by being above 500 this late in the year, and they have really improved their starting pitching. Last year at this time their starters ERA was almost 5, and when the season was over it was over 5, and the Royals was under 4, 3.71. And now Minnesota's under 4, and the Royals are at about 4.5 with their starter ERA. So that's one component that's helped Minnesota stay above 500. Kyle Gibson's ERA is 3.3, or was 3.3 when the game started.
I think Gibson wanted that one.
He felt like he executed a quality pitch, didn't get the call.
Got that call. 1 and 2 to Escobar. He has grounded out twice. And there have been very few pitches thrown by Gibson that have either been in the middle of the plate or above the knees. And he's got a pretty good changeup working as well. 5 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts. And at the end of 5, Minnesota leads 1-0. Buck Night and fireworks tomorrow, and then a trucker cap giveaway and 4th of July fireworks on Saturday. The HDH Herrera Davis Holland t-shirt giveaway on Tuesday against Tampa Bay. Student night on Wednesday, $8 tickets for students. And then the Blue Jays the final weekend before the All-Star break, which includes another Buck Night and fireworks. So the Royals will be seeing some of the American League East after this series with Minnesota. The 3rd place Blue Jays and 4th place Rays coming to town. So if you're in 4th place in that division, you're only a game and a half out.
That's going to be anybody's race there. Anybody who wants to get hot, probably happen at the last part of the season.
Never seen the East balanced that way before.
Joe Mauer is 1 for 2. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Franklin Morales starting to play catch in the Royals bullpen. Chris Young, this will be his 88th pitch. And it's grounded through the right side. Mauer is 2 out of 3.
And Mauer's a guy that doesn't have the high average, but it always seems like he wears out Royals pitching. Not a ton of power, but he finds a way to hit the ball hard.
That was a well executed slider down. Went right with it. He's been trying to pull the ball more this season, but not for power.
And then he got a read on a pitch in the dirt. 3rd wild pitch of the game for Chris Young. And Minnesota has a runner at second base with nobody out.
It's like Salvy's having a difficult time reading those breaking balls in the dirt tonight.
He is.
And now Plouffe is going to bunt. Chris Young. It wasn't an easy throw, but he gets it over to Hosmer for the out. So for the 2nd straight inning, Minnesota with a runner at second and nobody out goes with a sacrifice bunt, and now at 90 pitches. And left-hand hitting Eddie Rosario coming up with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. And Ed Yost appears to be going for Franklin Morales, and he will. Chevy call to the bullpen. Minnesota leads 1-0 in the 6th. One out. Gave up 6 hits and only walked 1 batter. Now this inning is in the hands of the bullpen, and Franklin Morales, who has been so tough against lefties lately after struggling against lefties early in the season, he has inherited 12 runners this year and only 1 has scored. And now he inherits Mauer at third base with 1 out in a 1-0 game. The Royals will bring the infield in for Eddie Rosario, who had 2 good swings against Chris Young.
He's got a good fastball, low to sometimes he'll touch mid-90s, but he's better off right there at 92, 93. Good slider. And he's got a cutter he'll use too. Monty would notice.
I like the way he pitches in, especially a lot of times against lefties. Guys just go away, away, away. He comes in a lot.
Royals have the best percentage of stranding inherited runners in the American League. Only 23% score. That's the best. That'll be out of play. So Morales is ahead 1-2.
And right now, inherited runners saved or allowed, that's a huge number for guys coming in middle part of the game. Oftentimes it's a difference in winning and losing a ball game. If you're able to really strand those runners out there, Morales has been good at it. Like you say, only 1 out of 12, but that's something usually you get some momentum going early in the season and you just build on it. It's just something that stays with you. If you have a tough first part of the season, normally it's very difficult the rest of the year.
Two and 2, and our Toyota League leader showing us that Minnesota and the Royals among the 4 best in the league hitting with runners in scoring position. Three and 2 with the rookie Sano on deck.
Rosario, a 263 hitter against left-handed pitching. That's not a bad average. He's just looking down and trying to put that ball in play here and try to find a hole. I don't think he's going to try to juice the ball because he could swing and miss. He just want to try to find a hole with a drawn-in infield. Morales would like the pop-up or have him hit it right at somebody.
Got him to chase what could have been ball 4. Minnesota scored last inning, and then after they scored their run, they had a runner at third with only 1 out, but Chris Young pitched out of that, getting Dozier and Hunter. And we'll do it again. Rosario looks like he'd be susceptible to something. You can get him to chase it down and away. He really strides toward the first baseman. He doesn't stride right back to the pitcher. He's bailing out a little bit. So let's see if they can get him with a slider down and away. Popped up back our way. Joe Mauer opened the inning with a single to right. Went to second on a wild pitch to third on a sac bunt by Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe's first sack of the year. Struck him out. So he was kind of striding away and got him with a pitch away. And now 2 down with a runner at third base.
It was such a huge pitch Morales just made there after Rosario had fouled off some really quality pitches, comes back and just buries that slider. No chance.
Excellent. We mentioned the little ground ball with the pop-up. Didn't say anything about the strikeout.
We'll take it.
Yeah, good spot.
And now the first ever matchup of Franklin Morales and Miguel Sano, making his big league debut. And in his first big league at bat, he lined to center in the second inning, and then Chris Young struck him out in the fourth. Good fastball over the outside. Now setting up inside and missing inside, 1-1. Miguel Sano was expected to get to the big leagues at some point last year. At least some had predicted that, but he had Tommy John surgery, which is rare for a position player, but that wiped out his entire 2014 season. So Paul Molitor and the Twins had to wait another year. 2-1. And now 3 balls, 1 strike with Kurt Suzuki next.
And a lot of times a veteran pitcher like Morales can maybe play into that aggressiveness that a young player has. But I'm very impressed with Sano's ability to lay off those pitches, being very patient at the plate.
Full count. 3 years ago, Sano had over 100 RBIs in A-ball, which sounds good, and then maybe you say, well, so what, it's A-ball. Well, that's a 5-month season. 100 RBIs in the big leagues is impressive, but that's over 6 months. He did it in 5 months. Trying to drive in his first at the big league level with Mauer at third and 2 down. And he strikes out twice. Sano has come up with a runner at third and 2 down. Chris Young struck him out in the fourth. Franklin Morales gets him in the 6th.
That's called relief.
A little bit of Houdini there.
Better believe it. Great job.
Players to watch, and 2 in this game. Alcides Escobar, Torrey Hunter, both are hitless so far. Billy Butler's had big numbers against Seattle in his career. I remember that from his Royals days. And Max Scherzer, I think you got to pick him every time he takes the mound. He just had a 3-start stretch. Amazing.
You know you're good when every time you go out you could throw a no-hitter.
Mike Moustakas has a bunt single. He is grounded back to the mound, and he leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is John Pettijohn. How about that name? He lives in OP. The Royals hit a home run in this inning. John wins $600. Popped up into the mist. Tough time of night. It can be easy to lose the ball, but Trevor Plouffe is there to bring it down for the first out. And of course, if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, then John Pettijohn will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Lorenzo Cain is 1 for 2 with a 4th inning single. Royals have only had 1 inning so far where they've had more than 1 runner, and that's when they loaded the bases in the 4th inning. And now Lorenzo trying to drop down a bunt. The Royals have 3 hits tonight. 2 of them are bunt hits.
Well, you know, a sinker baller. Gibson's on tonight. He's got his good sinker. It's working. He's got a slider. Everything's staying down, so they're trying to be creative to find ways to get on. Rarely do you see Lorenzo Cain with a pulled over shift and just Joe Mauer over here on the right side. They must not have been watching what Lorenzo Cain did in Houston. Stay inside that ball and go to right.
Oh, 2 on Cain.
Okay, now 0-2. Dozier's going to go back over to that right side. 2 strikes, thinking Lorenzo Cain going to shorten up and just try to dump it over there.
One ball and 2 strikes. Only 67 pitches for Gibson and 5 1/3. Former MU Tiger Kyle Gibson. He is from Indiana. Caught by Plouffe, who used the glove as much as a shield as anything else. 2 down in the 6th.
Well, that's the one you want some elevation. If you could just get under that baseball there, he might have hooked the pole, but almost took Plouffe into the outfield. Good hard swing. That's all you can do. Hit it hard somewhere.
Two down to Eric Hosmer. 1 for 2 with a bunt single. His 4th bunt single of the year. One and 1.
Guys, one thing that I've noticed about the way Gibson's going about his game tonight, he's throwing a lot more change-ups, and I think that's one of the themes that their coach Neil Allen, pitching coach Neil Allen, has incorporated with this twin staff this year, is use that change-up more effectively, especially as you get later in the game. And we've seen it now here a little bit tonight.
Yep, and that's been the tendency on Gibson. 3rd time through, if he gets that far, more off-speed pitches. When they're looking for the sinker, and both of those pitches, they're all moving down, so it's that little less change of speed on the changeup really gets him off balance.
And he's really used that pitch effectively to left-hand batters.
See that circle grip on the changeup. He stays behind the ball very nice, and on top, down through. Looks like a fastball. Same arm speed. Badesky about a foot out in front.
That one stayed inside, 3 and 2.
You know, when you're being hunted like the Royals are, these pitchers are coming out on top of their game. They are hitting their spots. The last several nights, we've seen quality pitching against the Royals. They're all hitting their spots. I mean, nothing against getting on the offense at all, but man, when pitcher executes his pitches, there's not much you can do as a hitter, Monty, when a guy's on his game.
Good pitching normally is going to be good hitting.
There you go. But Haas will take the walk. That's the 3rd one. 2 by Gordon.
We remind you to vote, first of all, for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And for Kendrys Morales at DH, Royals.com/vote. Got about 2 hours to go. Morales has flied to left and grounded into a force out on a play where Mauer made a diving play on the right side. Took a ground ball that was headed for right field and got it out at second base.
The outfielders still believe Morales is going to hit something their way. They're swung over, leaving a big hole in right center field. I mean, that's huge. Look at the distance between Hunter and the center fielder Santana. Big gap out there. Closes quickly though in the big leagues if there's any air underneath it. But if Morales can somehow dribble one through there with a little bit behind it, could score Hosmer. It's 2-0, got a good hitting count.
Morales has not gotten very many good pitches to hit against Kyle Gibson. He is just 1 for 13. Just waiting for that mistake. And will it come right here? Good take.
You better believe it. You swing at that, that's a pop up, maybe a little grounder, but with them pulled over like that, Morales, we've seen him shorten up his swing and try to go to left field. He wants one better. It was a pitcher's pitch.
Another good take. 3-1. Big crowd here tonight, close to a sellout. Hosmer at first base with 2 down. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Kendrys, he is clearly, and he has to change his approach with 2 strikes, but he clearly this time up was looking for a pitch in a certain area and was not going to go for anything down and away.
If you look at that grid, that's some really good pitching. He's keeping that ball out of the middle, huh, Monty?
Staying on top, getting that good downhill action.
They all know what Morales can do to him with anything out over the middle. He very strong.
Hosmer takes off and Morales cracks his bat. Dozier comes in from shallow right, and that's the inning. 6 scoreless innings for Gibson. Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. On and off light mist with rain all around Kauffman Stadium. Little thunderstorm missed us to the west. And I think we're going to be dry the rest of the night. 6 in the books. Minnesota has a 1-0 lead, and I'm sure they feel like they've missed out on some opportunities. Twice they've had a runner at third and nobody out and didn't score. And the Royals have really only had one good scoring opportunity in their first 6 at-bats. Franklin Morales finished off the 6th inning for Chris Young. Young gave up just 1 run in 5 1/3. Morales struck out both Rosario and Sano with a runner at third. And now he gets Suzuki, Escobar, and Santana.
He's aggressive when he comes out of his delivery. I mean, he's really quick, and sometimes that will throw a hitter off and get up on you in a hurry. And when you got a good fastball coming out of that spot, maybe 93, and a good hard cutter and slider, doesn't give the hitter much time to see it.
Breaking ball and a routine fly ball to CAIN. Kurt Suzuki, who scored the Minnesota run, is 1 for 3. Fans, you can round out your postseason bobblehead collection on Saturday, July 25th with the Yordano Ventura bobblehead. Be one of the first 15,000 fans through the gates to receive this one-of-a-kind, commemorating Ventura's performance in Game 6 of the World Series, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City. It's also Viva Los Reales. We're also going to celebrate Hispanic heritage with the Royals during our Viva Los Reales event, featuring a salsa showdown and other festivities happening in the outfield experience. July 25th. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. It's 0-2 from Morales to Eduardo Escobar.
Brian, when you take a look out there at that beautiful infield grass, do you notice anything about that grass?
It's a little lighter than the outfield grass, and there's a lot of sand kicking up on ground balls.
Yep. It's because it's some new sod. It's an infield turf. It's called Bermuda grass, called Latitude 36. Exceptional warm season grass that loves the heat and humidity. Put in there by Trevor Vance and his outstanding grounds crew. They sodded it last Tuesday, the 23rd of June, after the last homestand. So it gave him a little time to put him in some nice infield grass to weather the heat here in Kansas City. Good job, Trevor. Looks nice. Oh, man.
Rios plays the ricochet off the sidewall, and Eduardo Escobar has a 1-out double.
#12th double for Escobar this season. That's a great stroke there. That's what you want to do. He's going to try to throw that little backdoor fastball cutter. Go with it. He didn't try to pull it. Very nice approach, keeping his hands inside that ball.
Danny Santana, one hop to Moustakas, and takes a long look at Escobar before throwing to first. 2 down, and now Ned Yost is out of the Royals dugout.
Nice job by Morales. Man, I'll tell you what, he really came in there and helped out Chris Young and got a couple of nice strikeouts just in the nick of time.
Luke Hochevar is a Chevy call to the bullpen with Brian Dozier coming up and a runner at second base. Fox Sports Kansas City continue to offer fans a unique way to come to Kauffman Stadium, the Forever Royal Fan Express. The next stop is Omaha on July 11th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. Coach Haver pitches for the third time in the last 4 days. Pitched in back-to-back games Monday and Tuesday in Houston, was effective in both.
Starting to get his rhythm. Executing his pitches. Curveball's really been sharp. Good fastball there. Low to mid-90s. He's got a nice cutter he'll mix in.
Dozier is 0 for 3. He was a big out for Chris Young in the 5th inning with a runner at third and 1 out. Dozier flied out to shallow center. Joel and I had a chance to talk to Luke yesterday in Houston about how he's been pitching lately and just kind of his self-assessment. And he says he feels better every time he goes out, more confident with all of his pitches. His arm feels great, but just a little bit of fine-tuning needed. Just that last finish to each pitch. There's a ground ball to third on a curveball that was breaking down. Hosmer helps out Moustakas. And Minnesota had a runner at second base with 1 out. And the Twins have stranded 6.
Over Detroit. Cleveland wins again. Texas shuts out Baltimore, and Boston blasts Toronto. Let's go to Detroit for our Mazda game break, and this highlight courtesy of Neil Walker as he gaps that one. Francisco Liriano, the former Minnesota Twin, was great on the mound, and the Tigers actually fall to 500 on the season. After the game, Jeff Montgomery analysis. We'll hear from Ned Yost, reaction from the clubhouse, and much more on Boulevard Royals Live.
Thank you, Joel. Alex Gordon. Well, there's what we were talking about with Monty. Kyle Gibson saves that changeup for the later innings, and he uses a first pitch changeup to Alex. Alex has walked twice. Gibson has walked 3 in his 6 innings. And it is 0-2. So the Royals haven't found their groove tonight yet on offense. And yet I'm sure Minnesota is frustrated. You know, the Twins are 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight. So this game has that feeling of Minnesota wasting all those opportunities. I mean, they could be ahead with a timely hit 3-0, 4-0, and yet the Royals are down by just one, batting in the bottom of the 7th. 3 pitches, and Alex strikes out. That is number 5 for Gibson. Saturday, the Rays head to the Bronx to take on the Yankees in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1 beginning at 11:30 a.m. and then at 6 o'clock it's baseball night in America. It's the Royals and the Twins on Fox. It all starts on your home for baseball every Sunday. Fox and Fox Sports 1. Salvador Perez grounds out to short. Sal is 0 for 3, and now Alex Rios coming up as we show you the sprint cuts of the game against Kyle Gibson.
Well, he has been really good in the lower half of that strike zone, bottom half. I mean, he's just really executing his sinker, his slider, working down there. You know, he induces 18th ground ball double play early, and just everything is working down. And when it does come up, there it was, a good inside fastball. Saw it off Morales. And look at him. He is hitting his spots. He's hitting his corners. And as Monty said, you know, and I agree with him, good pitching outdoes good hitting. And when your pitcher's on his game, it makes it really tough. So we're seeing some bunts. You know, we see they only have 3 hits tonight. 2 of them were bunts. Just anything they can do to try to get on and get a big hit. Hasn't happened so far.
And Gibson is not yet at 90 pitches yet. The Royals would really like to get into that Minnesota bullpen. It's quite a drop off from the starters to the relievers for Minnesota. Their starters are 6th in the league in ERA. Their relievers are 13th in the league. And Gibson still going strong. Still under 90 pitches. He has struck out 6 in 7 scoreless innings. The 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup final is here, and it's a rematch 4 years in the making as Team USA takes on defending champion Japan to see who will be crowned champion. Coverage begins Sunday at 4 p.m. only on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Big crowd here tonight. A lot of kids. I think she's getting a little restless. Sitting patiently to the first 7 innings. And the fans have been sitting patiently for the first 7 innings. Royals pitching has done its job tonight, holding Minnesota to 1 run in 7 innings. Royals have really pitched well tonight when Minnesota has had runners in scoring position. Minnesota just 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and now Kelvin Herrera is on for the 8th.
Yeah, you can't ask much more out of Chris Young. He did an excellent job tonight.
Franklin Morales picked him up, and new Coach Haber picked up Morales.
That's right. Well, he's waiting for some run support.
Torrey Hunter is going to try and get the ball by Alcides Escobar. He is grounded to Esky 3 times.
Better try somebody else, Torrey. Escobar's not going to miss. And most likely no one else will either if you hit it right at him. And even to their left and right. Good range by the infielders.
And he plops it out into center field for a leadoff single. Well, if you're on the road traveling and want to watch the Royals, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. That's how fans from all around the world are able to stay close to the Royals. And all around the country for that matter. Joe Mauer has a 2-hit game. In the 6th inning, he singled. Leading off the inning, he went to second on a wild pitch, sacrificed to third, but the Twins couldn't get him home. One and one.
Some nice movement on that 97-mile-an-hour fastball by Herrera. He's got an excellent changeup to go with it, and occasionally he'll throw a slider in there. Torrey Hunter just has 1 steal this year. Not likely to go.
The Twins as a team are 9th in the league in stolen bases. Salvador wanted that pitch up.
You know, you talked about how Mauer's a batting champion for a catcher and how rare that is. And I remember when after he got that batting title, manager for the Angels, Mike Scioscia, said if he had to do it over again and he could be anybody, he wanted to be Joe Mauer. Just by the way he could control his bat. At that particular time, he was hitting for power. He was showing tremendous hitting skills. Speaking of Scioscia, they've had a tough time recently with some of the drama that's been going on with the Angels. And you know that it gets even worse as they're in Arlington now to play the Texas Rangers, and Josh Hamilton will be there. They had a lot of drama early with him. Traded him over to the Rangers. So, you know, there's a lot of distractions in baseball. There's no question about it. But your focus has got to be between the lines and how you can win games.
3-2 on Mauer. And Mauer was a good catcher too. He won 3 Gold Gloves, but started having concussions and concussion-like symptoms at an alarming rate. And the decision was made before last year to move him from catcher to first base. Torrey Hunter runs. Mauer strikes out. Torrey Hunter is thrown out.
He'll strike him out, throw him out. That brought the crowd here at the K to life. There it is. Nice to hear that roar back home here. Herrera gave him a perfect pitch on outside to be able to nail Hunter for the 3rd time this year. Didn't get a great jump, but Salvi got a perfect ball from Herrera. Excellent throw on the first base side of second. Allowed Escobar to apply the tag.
fastball in for a strike to Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe dropped down his first sacrifice of the year in the 6th inning, getting Mauer to third. There's that rare slider, had some wicked bite to it, but never near the strike zone. Herrera was the losing pitcher last night in Houston in an inning that began with Jose Altuve getting hit by a pitch. Altuve stole second, went to third on a ground ball, and then scored on a fielder's choice after a long review.
Turns out that was the wrong guy to put on base. Great speed.
I'll be back into the big crowd up the right field line. Stroke to left field. Alex is right there. All he had to do is bend his knees to make the play. So the Royals have held Minnesota to 1 run in 8 innings, and now they need to get the offense going in the bottom of the 8th. Royals Charities broadcast auction to benefit Royals Charities July 10th. Starts at 6:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live. The game at 7:10 with Toronto. Seems to get better every year. All of the unique items up for bid, including this HDH on one side and American League Championship on the other side themed guitar.
Boy, that's a special night. All the proceeds going to Royals Charities, and you know they have all kinds of things besides this creative idea. And besides that, I mean, look at the guitar. That's pretty cool. They have a complete World Series set, bat set, all signed by the players. World Series used bats. You want to be a part of that.
1-2 from Kyle Gibson to Omar Infante. Gibson's at 92 pitches, and they are finally working in the Minnesota bullpen. Infante is struck out and grounded to third. And that's the first time all night the Royals have had the leadoff man on. And now something, I don't know if we've seen this all year, but we saw it last year time and time again with Jarrod Dyson and Terrence Gore late in the game, tying or winning run on, and here comes the speed out of the dugout, and Jarrod Dyson running for Infante here in the bottom of the 8th.
Dyson 8 out of 9 this year in steal attempts. Good to see his legs back healthy.
It is just the 4th time this season. Gosh, it seems like that would happen 4 times a week toward the end of last year. Of course, that's not accurate, but it just seemed that way at times.
That was speed was a big formula for them last year. They've scored 3 out of those 4 times. So it, excuse me, 2 of the 3. This is the 4th time that they've had their speed guy on late or pinch runner. That's the first pitch we've seen up out of the zone in the middle, and Escobar surprised him. You know, it's the time of the game when you got a guy like Gibson cruising that maybe you want to do a little run. Maybe Escobar might try to let him take a pitch or 2 to get into second, but if not, put the ball in play to right. Send Dyson all the way to the 3rd. Torrey Hunter in right field, shallow.
Ooh, Escobar, good idea. He had Plouffe back on the left side, and he bunted through it. No balls, 2 strikes. Dyson had 36 stolen bases last year, 34 the year before that, and 30 the year before that. Right now he has 8. And a lot of that is just the way the league has approached the Royals. A lot of slide steps. Dyson's been a decoy more than anything else. He's trying to get the hitter a good pitch to hit. He's running. The pitch is down and in. Suzuki's throw is on a hop, and Dyson swipes second base.
Excellent job of taking a couple pitches before he steals so you can get a read on the pitcher, Gibson, and Dyson had him all timed in a nice slide step by Gibson, but didn't help. The throw was, I mean, the pitch was inside, tough for Kurt Suzuki, and Escobar was able to duck and let him get that throw in there, and Dyson's safely in now. Gibson knows the situation, going to try to keep the ball inside so Escobar can't get his hands out and hit the ball to the right side and advance it.
Grounded to 3rd. Low throw, and Joe Mauer going back into catcher mode. Played that more like a catcher to take it out of the dirt than a first baseman. And the out is recorded, and Dyson has to hold at second base.
That's exactly what Gibson was trying to do. He wanted to keep the ball inside and hoping that Escobar would do exactly that. See him give Dyson that long look, make sure that Dyson didn't come over to third base.
Here's a difference in opportunities tonight. Minnesota, I mentioned, they are 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Royals are 0 for 3. They haven't had many shots like this. And Mike Moustakas 1 for 3 with a bunt single, with a chance here to tie it up with a base hit. Gibson turns. His shortstop Escobar was out of position. He made a move for second base.
This time around, they're not shifting on Moose. They're playing straight up in the infield and straight up in the outfield. Pressuring Gibson here.
Well, Dyson's got his attention. And Dyson very slow getting up. Kind of went awkwardly back into second base. Escobar playing right behind him, trying to keep that lead as short as possible. Inside to Moustakas.
What that does is it opens up a hole there at shortstop. It makes it even bigger. When Escobar's in like that and trying to hold Dyson, that's playing into Moose's hands. If he can get something out away from him, this hit a lousy single out there, that would score Dyson.
One and one. This will be pitch number 100 for Kyle Gibson. His season high is 117, and that was the last time he faced the Royals on June 10th. And still distracted by Dyson.
I noticed Gerard, before he got his lead last time, looking at the outfielders, making a mental note of where they're playing. So on contact, he can have a better idea on a read to him. One out. Got to help him get a better jump on a ball that's hit.
Slide step, and it's a little bit inside. 2-1.
Slide step is designed to get the ball home quicker.
Now you wouldn't think that Dyson would run here because Gibson's quick to the plate. There's a left-hand batter, so the catcher has a clear lane, and yet Gibson's not thinking that way. He's pitching like Dyson's at first. Moustakas just got a piece of it, and that makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's that changeup again. Had him out front. Again, Gibson showing excellent command tonight, keeping the ball down right where he wants it. They do hit it right at somebody. See the defense there. Time that ball crosses the plate, all those infielders are on their toes, ready to make a jump either way.
Do you gamble here if you're Dyson that something's going to be down with 2 strikes?
It's possible, but also be ready to advance if it's a bouncer anywhere close.
Not going, and it's down and in. It was a fastball. Thought he might go with a changeup or a slider in the dirt, but that's why I'm up here.
That's okay. We're just giving all the options. Good take, and another good location. Just trying to stay out of the middle.
Gibson has walked 3. He has walked 4. And now coming up, the guy who's had the best swings against Gibson tonight, LORENZO CAIN. Minnesota is ready in the bullpen, and looks like they won't make a change here, but Neil Allen is going to come out, the former Kansas City kid. I had a chance to visit with him. Grew up in Wyandotte County, went to Bishop Ward High School. He told me a neat story. He said his father was blind, completely blind, but loved baseball, and every night would sit on the porch and would listen to the Royals on radio, listen to Buddy Blattner and Denny Matthews, Fred White. And when I told him that Denny was still doing the games, he was just stunned and hoped that at some point Denny would go downstairs and meet Neil Allen. Neil Allen said, please, I would love to meet Denny Matthews. But that aside, right now, he wants his pitcher to ruin it for Royals fans here tonight. LORENZO CAIN singled to left in the 4th inning and then hit a rocket when he lined out to Plouffe at 3rd in the 6th.
It's the right approach right there inside. Stay inside of it with 1 out. We talked about Gibson and his rolling up double plays this year. He's best in the major leagues. There it was right there. Now that was the double play he hit into earlier. Another good contact. And the ball was, those are all up. With that sinker going down, that inside out stroke is going to try to keep him away from rolling that ball over into a double play. That's what Gibson wants here.
Got him to chase a pitch down and out of the strike zone.
Two-seam sinker.
And when a big league hitter swings at a pitch like that, it's easy to say, man, what's he swinging at? But the way Gibson's going, he is doing an excellent job of making balls look like strikes.
I'll say.
That is not just a wild, out of control swing. When that pitch comes in, it looks like it's down the middle. And Gibson's been doing it all night. Still distracted by Dyson, and that's a good thing for CAIN.
It is, and you know, he's doing a great job too of getting the ball home to Suzuki with his slide step. You see Dyson even up with the bases in between there. That's the shortest point right there you want as a base stealer. You don't want to be in back of the bag there if you're going to steal a bag. You want to be even up. He's got a nice lead at second. Looks like he wants to go.
CAIN takes down and in. This is just the second time all night that the Royals have had more than one base runner. In the fourth, which seems like yesterday, they had the bases loaded and 2 down, and Gibson was able to get Salvador Perez to end the inning. Gibson had retired 10 of 11 before Infante singled to begin this inning. Dyson's running for Infante. Moustakas is at first after a walk. 2-2.
Trying to expand the zone on Lorenzo Cain, hoping that he'll swing at one of those.
Got him. Fastball at 93, down and away.
Oh, perfect spot. Kind of looked like it locked up Lorenzo. He tried an emergency hack just to try to foul it off and wasn't able to do it. I mean, he is down and on the corners. When the pitcher locates there, that's one of the toughest spots for a righty. Just trying to foul it off.
Eric Hosmer has struck out. He has a bunt single and he has walked. On the outside for strike 1. So altogether now Hosmer is 5 out of 17 against Gibson. Solid numbers. Dyson's at second. Moustakas is at first. Dyson's been at second base to begin the inning. He was at second base, nobody out. 110 pitches for Kyle Gibson. Two and one. Now Suzuki is going to go out and have a chat.
Glenn Perkins, their closer, he leads the American League with 25 saves. It's not going to be easy if Gibson wiggles out of this one. So this is a pretty good opportunity here for Haas to try to find some way to get that outfield grass here at the K.
Hosmer missed all 3 games in Houston with a swollen left ring finger. Got some at-bats before the game today, facing Jason Vargas in a simulated game. And he's had 3 plate appearances tonight. Boy, that pitch has been effective to left-hand hitters all night. And that's not Hosmer mad at the home plate umpire. That's just Hosmer realizing there's nothing you can do with that pitch.
No, but what's really amazing about Gibson's start today, outside of his consistency with his command, is that with this many pitches thrown, he looks like he did in the first and second inning. Really good stamina. He's not missing. Sometimes the guy gets tired, he leaves something out over.
Pulled foul, still 2-2.
You know, you just gotta love. I'm sure Gibson appreciates Paul Molitor leaving him in his own game to take care of his own business right here. Not looking for any help in that bullpen.
Yeah, because sometimes a manager will make the move here because they don't want to put the pitcher in a position where he could lose the game. Hosmer hits a double here, and Moustakas scores, and Gibson with one swing goes from the winning pitcher to the losing pitcher. Another 2-2 coming. We're going to set up inside, and it's grounded out to Dozier, and Gibson gets out of it. 8 scoreless innings on 4 hits. We go to the 9th. Minnesota leads 1-0. Well, Paul Molitor stayed with Kyle Gibson and let him get through the 8th inning. Gibson appreciates that. 8 scoreless innings, and the Royals have seen this Kyle Gibson before. In the 2 starts before this, the Royals were all over Kyle Gibson, but as strong as he's ever been against the Royals tonight. 8 scoreless innings on 4 hits. Christian Colon will play second base as Dyson ran for Infante. And now Greg Holland coming on to face the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the 9th inning. Eddie Rosario, Miguel Sano, and Kurt Suzuki. Rosario doubled in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3.
Holland has his velocity back up there. Anywhere from 90 to 95 he'll throw, and he's got an excellent slider that drops straight down and occasional split fingers.
Holland last pitched on Saturday at Oakland. He had saves for the Friday and Saturday games. Two and 1 on Rosario. Fouled it off of his foot. Minnesota Twins have 8 hits tonight and 9 total base runners. Royals have only walked 1. And Minnesota is 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Off of Holland's foot, and then a low throw to Hosmer in time for the out.
It's a way to help yourself. Oh man, you just never know which way that ball's going to bounce. Looked like it hit him in the right shin, stayed right in front of him, picks it up, and just casually flips it over there. Gets the out. Nice job of fielding.
One down to the rookie Miguel Sano is 0 for 3 in his big league debut. Holland starts him off with a slider. Sano had a good swing against Chris Young in the 2nd inning. He lined to center in his first big league at bat, and then Chris came back to strike him out in the 4th. Franklin Morales struck him out in the 6th. Lays off that slider, 1-1.
He's got that. That's one of his slow. He calls that the slow boy pitch. So he took a lot off of that one. He'll mix that in occasionally. Sets up. It makes his other pitches look better.
Moustakas has to run in from left field. Bare hands, throws it away, but the Royals get a good bounce. That might still go as a hit. Hosmer tags Sano, but first base umpire Eric Cooper says he did not make a move towards second base, and that is the first big league hit for Miguel Sano. So all that power, and he hits a 27 bouncer on the infield grass for his first big league hit.
How about it? And he'll come off. Congratulations, Miguel. You got you an infield chopper. Nice try by Moose. That's all he could do. Thankfully, that ball stayed in and didn't get him an extra base.
So there it is. First big league hit for Miguel Sano here at Kauffman Stadium. Now Minnesota catcher Kurt Suzuki. Paul Molitor, Sano's manager, had a memorable hit in this ballpark. It wasn't his first, but in 1998 Paul Molitor got his 3,000th hit here at Kauffman Stadium against Jose Rosado. And right until the very end, Paul Molitor could run. He was the rare DH with excellent speed, and with that 3,000 hit, he became the first player in Major League history to get a triple for his 3,000 hit.
Boy, that's a lot of hits. You've seen a guy getting his first big league hit tonight, and you think about Molly and all them hits he got. Wow, that's a lot of baseball.
Bunted back to Holland. The play is to first. Suzuki is out. Robinson goes to second base. And that's going to be scored a sacrifice bunt.
He was going for a base hit.
What a country.
Yeah.
Only in America.
Yeah, he wanted to put that down the line. He's not happy with himself.
Royals in the bottom of the 9th have Morales, Gordon, and Perez. Holland trying to keep Minnesota right here. He gets a pop up, that'll be out of play.
Escobar, a 276 hitter with a runner at second base in scoring position.
There's Glenn Perkins getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. He is warmed up and ready to go.
Bullpen coach Eddie Gordado standing alongside.
Sal keeps the ball in front of him. 1-1 on Escobar. The only run tonight in the 5th inning. Kurt Suzuki doubled. Escobar dropped down a sac bunt. Danny Santana tripled. Suzuki scored, and that's it. Minnesota's had many more opportunities than the Royals, but they only cashed in once. Robinson heads for third, and that ball is lined to right center field. So even with the runner not going, Minnesota gets his 2nd run. Escobar will end up at third base with a triple, and Minnesota's lead is 2-0.
Robinson got a great takeaway from second base, and had he not hit, he probably would have stole that base, but some pretty nice piece of hitting. Escobar got him a pitch on the inner half and just kind of jammed it out there, but he hit it in the right spot, and it rolled just long enough for him to get to third base. Excuse me.
Where?
Third. All the way. Didn't even need to look at third base coach Gene Glenn.
Now Danny Santana, he has an RBI triple tonight, so both Minnesota runs have come on RBI triples. Santana also has a bunt single. He was in a deep slump when the game started, and feeling a lot better right now. 2 for 3. Struck him out. But Minnesota gets a big insurance run in the top of the 9th inning. So the Royals need 2 against Glenn Perkins, Kendrys Morales, Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez coming up. He has a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. He will face Kendrys Morales and then Alex Gordon, which takes us to Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. This is August of last year.
Oh, that was magical. It was a walk-off. Royals without a walk-off all year this year so far. Maybe they can make it happen. Perkins. Oh, that was nice.
Good thing he had his eyes closed.
Oh. Good firm fastball in. 89 to 94 with that fastball. Slider and a changeup he'll use, but he's very effective at keeping that ball on the corners.
Well, the way Kyle Gibson pitched tonight, it sounds strange, but the Royals are probably thrilled to see Glenn Perkins.
No
Never
question.
been so happy to see them in their lives.
What a job he did.
Crack bat, 1-2 on Morales.
There's that changeup. Good spot. Down. Give Morales a little something extra to look at. An off-speed pitch.
Struck him out. Slider down and in. 8 strikeouts for Minnesota pitching tonight. So the best Alex can do here is make it a 1-run game.
Perfectly executed. Exactly what he wanted to do. Out of the zone.
Alex's only career home run against Perkins. Otherwise, good numbers. Hitting at 286. Walks are starting to pile up for Alex. He had 5 during the road trip, and he has 2 tonight. On base percentage at .385, and may have gotten a piece of Kurt Suzuki with that follow through. Suzuki telling him, hey, don't worry about it. I'm all right. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time.
No, watch out when you take that
shoulder.
Yeah, you take that top hand off. Sometimes that backswing is a little long.
Grounded to the right side. Dozier slides. 2 down. So Minnesota, they haven't cashed in most of their offensive chances tonight, but for the most part it looks sharp. They're at the end of a long road trip. Strike to Salvador Perez. Royals finished a 10-day trip yesterday. Minnesota will finish a 10-day trip here on Sunday. They were a little more rested than the Royals were. Minnesota played a 2-1 game in Cincinnati yesterday that started at 12:30 Eastern. They were in their hotel rooms before the first pitch was thrown between the Royals and the Astros last night. And they will take game 1 of the 4-game series and pick up a game on the Royals in the standings. Gibson and Perkins. Gibson did the majority of the heavy lifting. 8 scoreless innings. And Glenn Perkins improves to a perfect 26 out of 26 in save opportunities. Danny Santana had an RBI triple. That's all that Minnesota needed. Eduardo Escobar added an RBI triple in the 9th inning for some insurance, and Miguel Sano in his big league debut gets his first big league hit.
Kyle Gibson, what a game. I mean, to tell you, he didn't make any mistakes at all. He was on his game and on top, and he shuts the Royals out for the 7th time this season.
And it's the 5th time the Royals have been shut out since the beginning of June. 2-0 Twins. We'll be right back.